What's going on, guys? It's Nate here, and Skyrim has been out for quite a long time, well over half a decade now, but even after all of these years, there are still some small details that I catch myself uncovering for the first time in recent playthroughs. So today, I'd like to share a few of these. Without further ado, here are 10 tiny details you may still be missing in The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. In Whiterun, you'll encounter a small girl named Braith, who has a knack for acting particularly snobbish, and concentrates much of her negative behavior on a boy named Lars Battleborn, who you'll find out she later has a secret crush on. But if you do a little more digging, you can find the source of much of this pent-up frustration. Follow Braith home, don't do this with real children, and you'll find she lives with Amren, her father, and Sapir, her mother. This is where the dots begin to connect. The couple rarely give their daughter any type of attention. Her father is too busy trying to track down a lost family sword, and the mother would rather read romance novels than interact with her own child. It's a rather sad discovery. The real reason this girl doesn't know how to behave isn't her fault at all.
My daughter Braith says I read too much. Play with me, mother. Girls need to learn how to take care of themselves.
At number 2, if you use a flame spell on any source of water for long enough, the water will actually begin to boil and bubbles will start to arise. Though this seems to only work if you're not using any mods that affect the water, which there's a good chance you are if you play PC. So check that before you try this one out. Third on our list are shadow markings, clever symbols scratched onto and around various homes, dungeons, and anywhere else the Thieves Guild has been. Members of the guild have come up with this unique tactic as a means of alerting other thieves to nearby opportunities or warning against committing certain actions in an area. For instance, if you see this marking on a home, it means there's something of great value inside, definitely worth stealing. Whereas if you see this one on a house, it means there's danger to breaking in. Perhaps a very skilled warrior or mage resides inside. You can actually find a book that tells you what each one of these symbols means inside the Thieves Guild cistern. I'll also post a key on screen now. Feel free to pause the video. Next, for the inner nature lovers, if you look hard enough on certain trees or on the ground, you can actually find rows of ants marching. They're not really doing anything but walking about, but an appreciated and very easy to miss touch nonetheless. At number 5, while we're still on the topic of woodland critters, birds have nests they return to periodically. Much like the game's Radiant NPCs, birds will go out and fly for a while, then return to their own humble abodes. If you decide to shoot one down, eventually another bird will spawn to take up residence in its fallen brother's nest. Moving on to number 6, we take a look at who is arguably Skyrim's most fervorous priest, Heimskr, who can be found loudly preaching the word of Talos in front of his shrine in Whiterun. However, after the Battle of Whiterun quest as a part of the Civil War campaign, Heimskr will suffer an interesting fate. No matter who wins the battle, his home will have been destroyed in the fighting. In the event of a Stormcloak victory, he will still be found giving his daily sermons and living a new life in a nearby tent. But should the Empire emerge victorious, he'll be nowhere to be found. He simply vanishes from the city. Well, fear not, he's still at least alive. Head down to the Dragon's Reach dungeon, and he can still be heard preaching, his body behind bars, but his spirit far from broken.
But you were once man, and as man you said, "Let me show you the power of Talos Stormcrown."
Going forward while still in Whiterun, there's a surprising secret hidden in a very unlikely place. Head over to the town's market and approach the well in the center. Then activate no-clip and go directly down it. Doing this will result in you stumbling across a hidden golden ring. I've heard this is actually a reference to the horror film The Ring, though I've never actually seen the movie itself, so it could very well be just a clever random Easter egg planted by Bethesda. At number 8 is the Winterhold Chill. So if you've ever been to Winterhold, you know there's not that many guards or things of value to steal, minus from the college, making getting arrested in the hold a pretty rare occurrence. However, should you ever suffer such a fate, you'll notice Winterhold's jail is a rather unique one. It's far from the city itself, hidden in an ice cave, though that's not the only thing done differently here. You see, rather than boasting traditional guards that are, well, you know, human beings, this jail is actually guarded by frost antronarchs that were likely conjured up by the nearby college. Getting close to the end here at number 9 is Anissa's little secrets. In the Falkreath Hold, you may stumble across Anissa's cabin, a small secluded shack in the woods with a single resident, an elderly, seemingly harmless, peaceful old woman named Anisse. Though should you sneak into her cellar, you'll uncover a very different truth. Anisse is actually a witch. A letter to a girl named Helgi reveals this truth. Upon leaving the cellar, Anisse will immediately become hostile, declaring no one can know her true self. But her secrets don't exactly end there. Should you kill her sister Moria will then send a group of bandits after you. This is bad enough, but if you played through the Night to Remember quest, you know that Moria is actually a hag raven who you've accidentally married during a drunken night. Anisse certainly wasn't who she appeared to be at face value. And finally at number 10, you can actually get an entire Khajiit caravan to attend a wedding of yours. For those of you who don't know, Khajiit NPCs are rarely found within city walls, but if you complete the quest, Ysolda's Ship shipment and proceed to marry her, some new Khajiit friends will show up at the ceremony to signal their support. And there you go, folks, 10 small details you may have missed in Skyrim. I did my best to pick out ones that I didn't see covered too much anywhere else in other YouTube videos or articles, and ones I've only recently discovered, so hopefully somewhere in this list you found a few things that you've missed after all these years. If so, a like rating is always very much appreciated. And what secrets have you uncovered for yourself? Leave a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.